Welcome to Increase, where it is my task to increase, illustrate, and inundate you with information, knowledge, and overall help cause you to think. And I'm your host, Alpheus Gibbs Sr. Hey, everybody, what's going on? How's everyone doing today? Listen, this is Increase. This is episode 12. Last week we had a few technical issues, and it wasn't even on my end. That was the crazy part. But I'm so grateful that I'm able to hang out with you guys today just for a little while anyway, and just share with you some information that I feel like is going to be useful to each and every one of you. You guys seen the title of today's topic, and that is, can work-life balance be achieved? And that is a great question because a lot of times we really don't know. And I say we really don't know because a lot of times there's so much that's going on in the run of a day that the only thing that you can do is try to balance as much as you can, right? We try to make sure that we're, giving everybody and everything a certain amount of time or enough time wherein it can work and function and that everyone is, can see us and experience whatever. But the real truth of the matter is there's a lot of stuff that we overlook and we miss. But I want to give you guys some tips today on how you can and I can achieve work-life balance. Because it's the great mystery, right? It is the one thing that there are seasons in our life or times in our life when we will be able to massively achieve it. And then there are times when you got to go all in on whatever assignment or whatever thing you're working on, whether it's me studying to preach or whether it's, your business or your job or whatever, or you're in school. Like there are times when other assignments, other things around you will suffer because you're so focused on the one thing that you have going on. So, hey, everybody, I'm so glad again that you guys are on. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you try to make sure that, you give your kids ample enough time, your spouse. You try to make sure that, if you have a job that, and a business, that you try to give as much time as you give to your job, you try to give at least close to that or that much in your business. Those of you who are in school, right? You got homework, you got your studies, all of that, you're trying to achieve balance with that. And those of you who go to church or to whatever worship place, whatever, you have even that. So there's so much that goes on that a lot of times in society, we're not fair to each other. We're not fair to each other. We're like, oh, you need to be all in with us. Even in church, you got to be all in here. Well, I got a family and I got a job in the business or whatever. Like, I can't just divulge all of my time to you. And even vice versa when it comes to other areas, avenues in our life. So I want to give you guys some tips on how you can achieve this work-life balance and give you the confidence or the understanding that even though, you want it to be perfectly balanced, there are going to be times when you just not going to be able to be there for certain things or certain people. And that's okay. Those are called sacrifices. Those are called paying your dues. That's you really showing yourself that I can be dedicated to a task or an assignment beyond just the normal, because I'm not looking at my now, I'm looking at the end. And so that's one of the things we got to look at. You got to look at, when it comes to work-life balance, you got to look at the end goal more than you do, say, the opinions or the feelings of those around you. Because yes, people are going to be upset that you're not there, or you may not be able to be as supportive as you once were, or even you want to be. But you also have to look at, if I don't go all in now, right? If I don't do this now, how much further is this going to set me back? Like, in perfect example for me, I put so much in front of me instead of investing in stocks and bonds and getting life insurance, that if I had done that, say, 20 years ago, right, I would be paying a lot less and I would be in a different financial position than I would be if I did me starting right now. And one of the things is that we keep putting today off for tomorrow, and that really interrupts our work-life balance, because your work is doing okay. Your other areas in your life, your social life is okay. But that part of your life wherein it is personal achievement, it is time for you to develop, grow, and mature. When it's time for that, you put so many other people ahead of you and so many other things ahead of you that you really don't get a chance to achieve the heights that you should have achieved. Just think about this. Had you been more serious in school, how much further would you be? Had you really understood, that men or women are always going to be there, but I need to learn financial literacy. I need to understand communication better. I need to value my own opinion as much as I value other people's opinion. How much further ahead you will be? It's those little incremental things that we learn as we go along, that we find out that those things were not only as important, but even more important if I had mastered those things or even gotten introduced to those concepts at a younger age, so that now I could be more set up to handle life's situations and circumstances. So one of the things that we want to deal with when it comes to being better at work-life balance is managing your time. And it's more than just saying, I'm going to allot a certain amount of time for a certain task. Managing your time really says, okay, I'm going to not only look at how much time needs to be dedicated to a task, I need to understand my worth, right? The marketplace dictates what your job pays you, what a particular position pays you. Your experience and education either brings that value higher, or keeps it, or maintains it at what the market says, or lowers it. It is the difference between hiring a Gary Vaynerchuk versus hiring your cousin Pookie, who gives you good game when it comes to various things in life or whatever. Gary has the experience behind him. He has the business acumen. He has the access to other arenas that you have never even thought of, and he brings that plus his connection. So when he speaks from many levels to many different people, and is able to take you from where you are to where you want to go. Versus your cousin, who gives good advice, who points out things that you really didn't think about, but does not have that background, that past behind him or her, that could really solidify in your mind, this is something that I need to do. And so when we're managing our time, we're not just looking at how much I need to allot to a task, but you need to begin to understand that I have a value that I need to now begin to quantify. I need to begin to look at it and go, is this worth my time? Because we're giving people and we're giving things so much of our time that when you look back, you actually came out on the losing end instead of on the come up. Yes, you have the money to go here or to eat there, but you also have a goal on your vision board that says, I want to be financially here. I want to own this by this time. I want to drive this. I want my children to be at this place by this set time. And so, though you may have the money in the bank, you may even have the cash flow to do it, to go out with somebody who you typically will hang out with anyway, or you probably don't even fool with like that, is actually a deficit to us. So when we look at managing of time, it's not just, oh, it only takes me this amount of time to do this. And then while this is working or on whatever and computing, I could be working on this, or I could be listening to this new album while I'm studying, or I could be, no. You got to also look at, there are things that we are adding to our plate that we think, oh, it's not that much, but it's actually a deficit to us. It's taken away from you more than it is giving to you. And then while it's taken away from you, on the time scale, it's also emotionally taxing to you. And the reason why it's emotionally taxing to you is because once you are done, you're going to reflect back on what you just did maybe 2 or 3 days later, and you're going to realize, not only did I waste my time, I sat here for 2.5 hours at a dinner talking about things that happened in the past, and we didn't really share anything. I really don't know any more about this person than what I already know, or I really didn't even share some ideas that could help them, because we spent most of the time over talking each other, or I'm just letting them talk and I'm eating or drinking or whatever, or I'm spending all this time over here when I should have been at home working on my craft, working on what I want to do and what I need to do to get out of the place that I'm in. For those of you who deal with depression, whether it's constantly or on occasion, it's just like this. You know, you spent this time doing that instead of working the skills that you have to pull yourself out of where you were and and get you to the place where you want to be. So we got to manage our time. We got to manage what we put our time into. The second thing is taking time for yourself. And yes, this talks about vacationing. Yes, it talks about other things. Um, just hang on one second, everyone. No, I ain't worried about it. So, not only just taking that time, for yourself as in a vacation, but also taking that time for yourself to breathe. How often do you take time for yourself to just take in all that has happened? I shared with you guys, on the podcast before, how I like sitting by the water or putting on waterfalls through YouTube and all of that. Sometimes you really just have to have that time to just go, right? You got to breathe. You got to take some time for yourself. That may be taking 10 extra minutes in the shower. That may be really kind of when you're fixing your lunch or your dinner, really going to that place of, okay, instead of me rushing, I'm just going to take my time. You may be in Target and you have your list, but you just browse. You may go through the home and garden section. Just look at the plants. Look at other areas of the store that you never have gone to. It's really those small incremental things. Taking that time for yourself. You may drive and never cut the radio on and just listen to the road, kind of let your mind wander and the road take you wherever. Kind of don't want to do that now since gas prices is through the roof. But it's really in those incremental things that you want to take time for yourself. As much of a family person that you are, as much of a social bug you are, at some point you got to take time and just begin to decompress. Decompress. This may be time wherein you forgive people again. This may be a time wherein you begin to just reflect on not your next goals, not, some things that you want to do in life, but really look at yourself and go, I'm proud of you. When the last time you just encouraged yourself? You really just said, you know what? You did all right. It's okay. You may feel sad or you may feel whatever you feel, but it's okay. Even if nobody agrees with you, it's okay. Just breathe and take time for yourself. Take those moments to really begin to allow yourself the space and time to just be. The next thing you want to do with this work-life balance is have a social life. You who are parents, you need that time away from your kids. You need to, and watch this, even you who are married, have that time away from your spouse so that you don't lose who you are as a person. Because sometimes in our life, we get so caught up in our children and the schedule that you allowed them to create. So now you're a soccer mom, football mom, this dad, that dad, all of this other stuff, karate dad, and all of this other stuff. And then you have your spouse and all the things that they want to do and need to do. And you're being supportive and you're always with them and lifting them up and all of that stuff. And all of that is great. But who are you as a person? Having that social life, having friends, having that time wherein it's not just all work, but you also remember that was the time I used to like just going to the park and being a big kid and getting on a swing. Like, when the last time you just went to a park and went down the slide? Like, even though you may say, well, this is kid stuff, you need that laugh. Laughter is like medicine. Laughter is medicine. Smiling is medicine. Like, we could begin to be so much of a better people if we don't relegate our adulthood to, I'm too big for that. Like, I have a really good friend. Her and her daughter have like the crazy, funniest relationship. Both her daughters. And I think about, my wife, and I think about others who spend that time with their children. They just get a chance to laugh and really and truly enjoy themselves. It's not about trying to be their friend, but it's really about just laughing. You know, having that experience of a social life. Sometimes we spend so much time with children that we forget how to have adult conversation. Sometimes why we spend so much time with church, or we spend so much time with people in our certain demographics that we don't even know how to communicate with people of the opposite sex or opposite occupation. So you need that social life to bring us to a balance. I pride myself more now than I have in recent past of being able to talk to anybody. Like, not just not having a fear of speaking, but being versed a little bit in some of everything and being able to talk to anybody on that level. Because I'm like this, I love people and I love cultures. So for me, I need to be around that. I need to see, people of different ethnicities doing what they do and being who they are and just appreciating them. It's that social life. We are social creatures. Even people who are introverted begin to work around people who are also introverted, but they go through seasons in their life where they need to be around people who are extroverted, because those extroverted people push them not only out of their comfort zone, but begin to move the sand off of their treasure, which is their gift. And because they do it, then that introvert is like, wow, I didn't even know I had that kind of a skill set. And so then they in essence rediscover even who they are. That social life cracks the shell of mediocrity and releases endorphins that causes us to be not only creative, but also opens us up to another level of love. It is in our ability to socialize with people that begin to truly reveal how not only unique we are, but also how connected we are. In essence, our social life really allows us to see and to discover who we are as a people. For you won't really know what you like until you're around other people who are doing things and you try it along with them. And then you'll begin to discover some of the things that you like and you dislike. Everyone isn't, and everything isn't always about I observe this and so I don't like it. There are key things in our life that we need to have experience in. It's nothing like having when you are talking in a group of people and they go, have you ever hit your toe on the corner of your bed? And automatically the wall that was once there because you were sitting around perfect strangers now begin to open up, and they're like, you know what, I don't even know how I did it, like I should know my bedroom. And other people begin to share their experiences, and because though that one experience that you had, though it was painful for the moment, open you up now to that when you are social, you're able now to connect with people who may be of a different background, language, religion, whatever, even sexuality and orientation. But now you're able to have at least something that will string you to that next person, and you can have a conversation and see them as a person, versus you not having a social life, and you're pushing so many people away that you're not able to enjoy those things of life, and you don't even know the other areas of who you are. As you get older and you begin to mature, you begin to discover things that you used to like. Some things you don't like them. Sometimes you don't like them anymore. There was a time when I used to listen to music super loud. God, no, I mean, if the trunk wasn't rattling, right, like the music was too low. Like I needed to turn the radio down so that I could back up because I wanted to make sure I could hear. But now, as I gotten older, like even the TV at 12 is like, all right, it's too loud now. I need to turn it down. I tell my kids, hey, y'all need to cut the radio down. Turn that tablet down. It's too loud. There were things that I enjoyed, I disliked as a youth that I love now as an adult. And it's that, and it's in those social interactions that we begin to discover those things. Here's another thing, another tip for work-life balance, and that is managing work. And I'm going to share with you what that truly means when you are managing your work. And what I mean by that is managing how to mitigate leaving work at work and being at home when you're home. So when I'm at work, I need to make sure that I'm maintaining what's going on at work. My assignments, the task, whatever it is, those deadlines, I'm meeting them or having my job or my work done before the deadline is. But then also when it is over, leaving it there. Coming home, my family doesn't know half of the people that I work with. They may know them by name, but they don't know them by face or even interaction. So you have to be able to manage work, leaving work at work. A lot of times people take the frustration of work home and they spill it out on their family. They spill it out on, even themselves. They get so enamored with what happened at work that they can't leave work at work. You may find yourself like a friend of mine who does taxes and he has to work bring some of the time, bring his work at home. Or you may be like, one of my church members who works from home. And so you find it a little bit difficult to leaving work where work is when you literally just doing your work in your living room or on the side of your bed. So here's what I would suggest for you is to set up that corner office. And if you can, even find some partitions so that when you are done with work, that now there's something that covers it. And you may want to put some plants there or whatever, just so that it doesn't look like work, but it really begins to look like home. For those of you who have to work from home or bring your work home sometimes, because you want to make sure that every time when you're with your family or when friends come over, that you're not bringing up work while you're in a place where you're supposed to be yourself, right? We all have our work face. Don't look at me like that. You know what I'm talking about. We all got that work vernacular, that work language, that work tone, that work attitude when we're at work. We understand that. You have on your work face. But when you're at home, you want to let your hair down. You want to be able to be comfortable. You want to be able to make sure that you have no residue of work. I don't want to talk as if I'm dealing with, Janie or whoever from work. I want to be able to be myself, my complete, unadulterated, unrestricted, unhindered, unmasked self. And so we have to begin to do those things, and how any of this is being done. And I'm going to share what I mean by that. But we have to leave work at work. The next thing is you got to enjoy your weekends and your vacation. Ooh, you got to enjoy your weekends and your vacation. In Google Calendar, you can set up your emails and all of that to share that when somebody from work or anywhere emails you, it sends them a reply. I'm on vacation. I will answer this whenever I get back and whatever date you said it, however, so many the case may be. So that you set that tone that when I'm not here, I'm really not here. That you can call my phone, but just know I'm not answering. I'm not on call. I'm gone. The same way when you're gone, when you're on your weekend, when you're on your vacation, and nobody calls you and bothers you, or you may want them to. As for me, when I'm on vacation, I'm on vacation. When I'm on my weekend, I'm on my weekend. We're not going to mix the two. When I'm at work, I'm at work. And when I'm home, I'm home. When I'm off, I'm off. And when I'm at the clock, I'm on the clock. You got to make sure you do those things because they'll begin to violate who you are. Then we have managing your time for your family. God, hey, I'm glad everyone's coming on now. And what I mean by that, managing time for your family, just like on your, and I used to work in a call center. And so I was a manager in a call center. And so we had this thing called top down um, management. And top down management literally meant was you will increment your time throughout the day. Elon Musk does this, and so does Jeff Bezos. So in your calendar for the day, you will schedule everything that you're going to do. I come in at 7 o'clock, 7 to 7:15. I'm getting coffee. I'm setting up emails. 7:15 to 7:30. This is what I'm doing. And then sometimes you have other tasks that didn't take that long. And so you will break that down all the way down. You would even schedule when you were going to the restroom. You would schedule when you went to lunch. You would schedule all of your meetings. You would schedule, everything. And so take some of those same concepts and even bring it home. Okay. So when I get home, okay, I need to make sure I allow myself time to decompress when I get home so that I don't stress my family out from the work stress that I brought home. And then I need to make sure that when I'm done decompressing, okay, are there any tasks or are there anything that needs to be done so that when I spend time with my family, I'm spending time with them. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're on vacation, make sure that you allot time for yourself, allot time for your family, allot time for because it's really about that until you get into the habit of prioritizing things and compartmentalizing people, you'll begin to see success in those areas. Then you got to set time for getting your chores done. What sort of chores you're trying to get done at home, on your in your business or whatever, your side business, whatever the case may be, setting that time so that you can do those things. So that at the end of the day, end of the week, you can look at yourself and begin to go, all right, I may not accomplish everything, but I did the best that I could do with the time that I have. Here is the key piece that's going to lock in everything that was just said. And it's just summed up in one word: boundaries. You got to set healthy boundaries. Someone said it best: routine. You got to get into a routine. In the corporate world, they call it a system and technique. You got to get into a routine, a system, something that can be beneficial to you and to everyone around you. But everything hinges on boundaries. The more you understand who you are and what you want and what you like and what you dislike, the easier it is to set up boundaries. And then when boundaries are established, do not violate your own boundaries. Keep your boundaries in place. There are people in our life where you're more pissed off at them. And more so, you're really not even pissed off at them. You're pissed off at yourself for lowering your boundary or compromising your boundary when you knew that this is why you set the boundary in the first place. You're not upset that they did what they did because you already knew they were who they are. It's not that you're upset because of who was around when it happened. It's, I set this boundary and then I compromised my own boundary. I second guessed, I removed my own boundary. And now I got to deal with this foolishness. And I'm coming to share with you, get those boundaries back in place. You may have compromised it once, or twice, or however many times. Put that fence back up. Good fences make good neighbors. There's some people that will never be your friend, no matter how friendly they act. There are going to be some people who you are related to who will never be family. And that's okay. They're going to be who they're going to be. It doesn't mean that you love them any less. It just means that my boundary is there for a reason, because you show me who you are. And until you show me something different, I have to let you be who you're going to be. This is to protect them and also to protect me. Good fences make good neighbors. Good boundaries make for healthy relationships. There's some people who, they turn. They were once a friend or a family member or whatever, and they're no longer that. They may have started out as a good business partner. You gotta let them go. It's okay. Why am I talking about this at the end? Because this is a part of your work-life balance. This is part of some of the things that is rocking the boat why there is no balance, because you're stressed out at work and you're bringing it to your life, or you bringing your life into your work or to your business. So you got to begin to make some tough decisions. I love you. I remember the history that we have with each other, but your history and the history that we have does not outweigh the boundary that I've set in place. I can't let you continue to do this. I got to protect me. I have to shield my children, my family, my wife, my husband, whoever. I have to make sure that they're good so that we can live a healthy and prosperous life. And then I don't put you in a position wherein you're around me when you really don't want to be. There's some people in our life, they're waiting on you to cut them off, but they don't have the know-how, the guts, the words, whatever, to let you go. So in order for other people to live a good life or happy or do whatever they want to continue to do, you gotta let them go. Be the mature one in a relationship. I got to cut you off because my work-life balance, it got to get better than what it is. I'm stressing on the job because I'm laughing at some jokes that's not funny, and I don't want to do that no more. So let me stop pretending like you're funny or that you like me, because I know you don't, and let me back away. Or let me get more focused on my job because I'm spending so much time laughing and enjoying you that I'm not advancing, because they have equated me with you and you're not trying to advance. I am. And so you got to begin to make those decisions and those choices, even when it comes to your personal life. All right, we laughing, we joking, but at some point, are we growing? Are we moving? Like, I know there are going to be relationships that's just going to be just that. But when you're in a place where you're wanting more out of life, you got to start asking the question, is this he and ha really helping, or is it hindering? We can always pick this back up, but there's a push that needs to happen. There's this chasing that I need to do. There's this advancing that I need to get to. Like I shared with you guys earlier, I should have been and with the knowledge that I have, I should have been doing a lot more than what I was. But me focusing on everything and everybody, I got to get back. I got to get on me, because everybody gonna do themselves. They're gonna do what they do. I gotta do what I do. I got children. I gotta make sure that, what I'm saying, I leave them an inheritance. So it's not just about me leaving them money. I gotta leave them education. So I gotta teach them. Me and my brother was talking yesterday, and I said to him, there were a lot of things that my father taught us that it was hard sometimes, but one thing he gave us was a work ethic. Like, I hear people all the time talk about, ain't nobody gonna outwork me or whatever. Listen, my dad always told us, before you work hard, you need to work smart. Once you start working smart, then work hard, because now you've cut your work in half. And so while everyone else is trying to plow a field with a mule and a plow, you got a tractor that got diesel fuel in it, and you're able to plow twice as much as they are. So you need to work smart first and then work harder. And so I say this to you who are on and who are going to watch this later, like, you got to get to the place where you got to work smart and then harder. You got to begin to go, okay, I'm missing some things. Like this ain't balancing, because I'm giving more is going out than what's coming in. And my cash flow, my flow in my personal life, in my life in general, is not working. I had to go to therapy so that my mental could be good, because when my mental wasn't good, it was affecting every relationship that I had. And so I'm blaming everybody else and what they're doing, and not even realizing that they're feeding off of the poison that I'm giving them. So I'm like, why are you acting this way? And it's because of how I'm responding, or how I'm giving them this poison to work off of. So when I got my mental together and I continue to work on my mental, then my relationships begin to change. And then I started finding myself being back happy again and laughing and listening to music and desiring to go places and all of this other stuff. We got to really begin to look at our work-life balance and go, okay, the scale is not right. We got a triple beam balance, but the beam is off. The scale is off. I'm giving more here and not enough to this. And so this is part of my struggle, or this is part of why things are so hard and heavy for me to handle. Here's another thing. Like, I spent so much time trying to make sure everybody else was good, that they were good even when I was in the bad. Even when, no matter how bad I felt, I was still making sure people were good. And so my loyalty began to become my liability. And I started being liable for things that had nothing to do with me, because I didn't do it, or I wasn't even there. But because I'm supporting it, I'm just as guilty as they were. So we gotta really begin to look at those things and go, all right, I gotta make some moves. I gotta shake some things up, because as I begin to shake these things up, yeah, people ain't gonna like it or whatever. But the true fact of the matter is that I may not even like it, because I've developed such a routine to do this and to act this way and to respond this way. You know what I'm saying? That everybody's not there. And I got to make sure that I'm bringing balance, that everything is equal to some degree or another. You're right. You do have to take care of yourself, because no one else will. But I'll tell you this, when you start taking care of you, you'll develop people around you that will help take care of you, because you will start helping take care of them. And it'll be a symbiosis across the board. There's nothing like being around friends who are caring and loving, being around family who is caring and loving, and everybody understands each other's boundaries. Everybody understands how far they can go and what they can and cannot do. But you don't even have to say nothing, but they understand where you are. And it's almost like y'all have a conversation without ever even talking. You just know it. Y'all are in sync with each other. We may not talk every day, but I know you good, because because we're so connected, I'll feel it. I'll feel that you're not good, and I'll be like, oh, let me check on who so and so. Hey, you good? Everything all right? Yo, we ain't kicked it in a while. Let's just kick it for a minute, get each other up to date on what's going on, and you start having that conversation, over a meal. You're like, yo, this is what I've been working on. What you got? What's been going on with you? Oh, I've been working here. I'm in school. I'm taking this class. Okay, then, yeah, I took something like that. Or I know somebody who can, if you need help, I can connect you to these people. Okay, then, yo, listen, I seen your ad you were running for your business. I shared it. You may not, I didn't comment, but I shared it or whatever, tagged a few people in it. I hope that, what I'm saying, it manifests itself into, a sale or, other connections, whatever the case may be. I shared, your name with somebody who I was talking to, blah, blah, blah. And we all, what I'm saying, we was just talking about, business owners or whatever, or this, that, and the third. And you share those things. And so out of that conversation, when you leave it, it's like, yo, even though I may have had a financial, obligation or things that I'm working on, this conversation was good. It connected me back with family or a friend. But then also, I know that they sharing my information and who I am in rooms that I'm not into. And so if I keep working and keep perfecting my gift and my talent, then later on it's gonna open up some avenues for you or for me that I'm able to do some things, some great exploits, and that I can live up to the reputation that is being put out there about me, even on your job, right? The way you carry yourself, the way you're able to balance your life and your work. People talk about that. Oh man, she come in or he comes in. They don't never have no bags under their eyes. What they got going on? What they doing? They be like, girl, how you able to, what I'm saying, keep your skin tight and you all together? I get plenty of sleep. I drink water. I don't let the job stress me. How you don't let the job stress you? And then you just start kicking the flavor to them. You start sharing with them information so that they can be better. You begin to change the culture on the job. You begin to change the culture in your family by just, what I'm saying, taking care of you, setting up, what I'm saying, those healthy boundaries. People who come around understand those boundaries and they begin to meet it. Sometimes they even exceed it. But we got to look at not just always the negative, but also even the positives that go on. And the more we begin to find that balance and begin to work on each individual levels in our life, we'll begin to see that even though it started out kind of hard, you know what I mean, you'll begin to walk in that balance that you didn't really think was there. And yeah, there are going to be instances where things are going to get off balance, but because you develop such a system, such a routine, that it's going to kick back in automatically. I'm gonna say this and then I'm done. But it's that I watched this interview with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he the interviewer said, why do you go to the gym every day? He's like, you already have muscles, you already successful. Why do you go to the gym? He said, well, I went to the gym 10 years ago, and I went to the gym, 20 years ago. He's like, and I'm going to go to the gym today. And he's like, do you understand? And the guy was like, yeah, it's just become a part of who you are. And so things are going to happen in your life, right? You're going to have people lie on you. You're going to have people that hate on you. You're going to have people slander your name. You're going to have people who will dislike your kids and try to mistreat them. You're going to have people who will disrespect your spouse, disrespect your relationship. You're going to have people who will try to treat you like trash in every shape, form, and fashion. But it's not going to stop your routine. You may hurt, your spouse may get sick and you might have to take care of them, but you've been in such a routine that when they get better, or if they continue to remain the same or get worse, you alter your routine, but it still maintains the same structure and the same flow that you're going to keep work at work, home at home, personal life, all of those things, because that's the routine. That's how you've developed yourself into being. You develop people to be around you that's going to be supportive, successful, um, and they're going to be there for you. So no matter what happens, even for a moment, things may get a little discombobulated, but you're going to get back to what it was, because at your core is what you were working on when nobody else was looking or no one else even thought to ask. That's what you were working on. That's what you were working to achieve. This is what you were sacrificing to achieve. Your vision board isn't just to get things. Your vision board is to develop you into the person who can maintain and multiply those things. The goal of your vision board isn't to get the house, the car, the financial support, stability, all of that other stuff. The vision board is to say, this is what you want, but you got to develop into a different person to have it. That it's not just I have all of these things and so now life is good. I'm working on becoming a better person, a mature person, to maintain and to multiply what I have. And so when people ask you, yo, how are you able to manage people saying stuff about you on social media? Or how is it that you're able to, handle being with family who don't support you? It's like, listen, when I was unseen in front of people, guess what? I was working on all of that. I was developing all of that. My skin is too thick to relegate it to someone who doesn't like, support, or even is there. It's okay. That's who they are. That's what they want. They choose to do. I just chose the path to being who God has called me to be. And that's all I want to share with you today, is that when you increase today, you're going into your weekend, you're carrying with you that work-life balance and how it's able to be achieved. And it's able to be achieved through many, many different ways. But it starts out with managing your time. It goes into taking time for yourself. It goes into having a social life. It goes into managing work. It goes into enjoying your weekends and your vacation. And then it finally goes into making time for family and getting your chores done, setting time to get your chores done. And so this is how we're going to achieve that work-life balance. And this is how we're going to make sure that it happens and that we teach it to our children, so that when they inherit our wealth, when they inherit all of those things that you've been working and sacrificing for, that they themselves won't get overwhelmed, but they have seen, experienced, and have put into practice all of those things. So I want to, thank you guys for your time. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Tomorrow, I'm celebrating my daughter's birthday, and so I'm excited. We're gonna celebrate today, and we're gonna celebrate, tomorrow being the official day of her birthday. But again, I want to thank each and every one of you, and I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous weekend. And I'll see you on Monday right here on Increase. Good day.